U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
Republican lawmaker named Dean Vanskoyak say that introducing a bill on banning child marriage would interfere with my God-given rights to her fertile, ripe body. Now, this came from an account called the Sergeant Joker on Twitter, also known as X, who was brave enough to block me, but joke's on you. I have the Twitter API and I'm a software developer. So let's have some fun.
Sergeant Joker? Wait. Sergeant Joker? What is this? Wait. So Sergeant Joker blocked this guy? This guy's like an ultra-lib, right?
I guess. I don't know. You sent the video.
On Twitter, also known as X, who was brave enough to block me, but joke's on you. I have the
Biden 24. He's an ultra-lib.
For developer. So
and by that I'm not talking about
said,
I just think I just thought it was funny that he's like, haha, I'm a software developer, fuck yourself. I can access your tweets through the software. Fuck you.
Leader of the Missouri GOP, 65-year-old Rep. Dean Vanskoyak, aka Colonel Dean, is upset that members of the Missouri House have the audacity to try to introduce a bill that won't let him marry a 12-year-old girl, calling it interference is my God-given right to her fertile, ripe body. This particular tweet was retweeted about 2,500 times and liked about 4,000 times, at least as of me writing the script. Now, on May 8th,
show the video.
2024, Kason Bayless of the Kansas City Star wrote an article about a bipartisan bill that would outlaw all child marriages in the U.S. state of Missouri. And believe it or not, most U.S. states have a minimum age for minors to marry with parental consent, ranging from 12 years old to 17 years old. I actually didn't know this. 16 and 17-year-olds are allowed to get married in Missouri as long as they have parental consent. Missouri law also bans marriage between a minor and anyone 21 years or older. So right away, this tweet kind of smells because a 65-year-old man like Dean Vanskoyak wouldn't be able to marry a 12-year-old girl anyway. And Representative Dean Vanskoyak is wearing a wedding ring in this picture and a cursory search.
Is this really what this video is going on about?
So
oh my God.
It is likely that he is already married. Now, I had a hunch that this might be a Russian disinformation account, so I ran through Cyabra, and their profile really didn't match what you would expect a Russian agent to have. Russian disinformation actors tend to have accounts with up to 50% inauthentic followers, and this particular Twitter user doesn't display that kind of indicator.
Yeah.
So how did this stuff come about? Well, I think this is what you might call misattribution manipulation. Now, sometimes misattribution manipulation is benign. A famous example might be the detective Sherlock Holmes never said, "Elementary, my dear Watson," but a lot of people think he did. But when you have an inherent bias, misattribution can trick you, especially if a quote has emotional truth to it. That is what you feel
what is happening
rather than what the facts are.
You don't think this is interesting?
On May 3rd, 2024, an account named Alessandra Murray, who is a Democratic
this is where the video is gone,
posted a video of Republican
about
state
information warfare.
Jess Edwards.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to send me this.
I didn't know what it was.
Who said in a debate regarding their state's child marriage laws.
The title looks interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for taking my question. Do you agree with the point of view that if we continually restrict the freedom of marriage as a legitimate social option, when we do this to people who are of ripe fertile age and may have a pregnancy and a baby involved, are we not in fact making abortion a much more desirable alternative when marriage might be the right solution for some freedom-loving couple?
Yeah, that guy actually said that. I am 48 years
audio.
old, and the words ripe and fertile have never left my mouth until literally just now. But yeah, those. I had a question from someone on Reddit.
What?
I know.
What?
Look at these video titles.
Yeah, somewhere interesting.
Like, I'm interested. I might click that.
Those words had to be formed in the guy's brain, and it actually made its way down into his mouth. Now, Alexandra Murray is not followed by the Sergeant Joker account, but you know who he does follow? Shannon Watts. I didn't know who Shannon Watts was, but apparently she founded an organization called Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. Shannon Watts retweeted Alessandra Murray's tweet about what the new
this is me going through Twitter, finding people who follow other people and connecting tweets that they've shared, and going through and being like, I fucking knew it, and just being able to find. And Twitter actually blocks you from seeing full follower lists now. Did you know this?
No.
I can't see full follower lists now, so they've actually made it harder to track disinformation on Twitter.
Well, that's the point.
Edwards said on May 4th. In the intelligence community, this is what we call a clue. Now, you notice how if you line these two pictures up, these two men do look kind of similar. So this may have been an attempt to deliberately confuse these two men, even though these two men are representatives in two different U.S. states, one in New Hampshire, one in Missouri. But they do look alike. And if you're predisposed to certain types of biases, it would not be unreasonable to look at a guy who looks like this and think, yeah, someone who looks like that probably would say ripe and fertile. That's twice in one day. Now, what Missouri Rep. Dean Van Schoyak said in an interview with the Kansas City Star was, why is the government getting involved in people's lives like this? Van Schoyak said, what purpose do we have in deciding that a couple who are 16 or 17 years old, their parents say, you know, you guys love each other, go ahead, get married, you have my permission, why would we stop that? He never used the words ripe or fertile. Third time. Okay. But I think that since Shannon Watts' video was out in the collective consciousness and that video was viewed 1.6 million times.
Look, here, original video. Keep following these links. This is where the videos come from. Come on, man.
Viewers of a certain bias was out in the collective third time. But I think that since Shannon Watts' video.
Yeah, because this is the video from Shannon Watts. So who the fuck is this account? Go to this account here. Find where that account is linked to. Find where the video came from. Then you can find... Oh, it's a different video. Never mind.
Was out in the collective consciousness, and that video was viewed 1.6 million times. Viewers of a certain bias were primed to accept disinformation. And stuff like this is how people can retweet that a flare is actually white phosphorus being dropped in Gaza, or that Ukraine is harvesting organs. If you're predisposed to a bias, you're more likely to believe propaganda. And in fact, if you try to search for that actual quote, the only source is that particular Twitter account. Now, looking at the Sergeant Joker account,
another thing I'll do is I'll search the
quotes. It's just a guy who's committed to the Democratic cause, and that's cool if that's your thing. But do you really need to make stuff up? So the question is, did this person intentionally try to mislead, or were they writing satire? Well, in the intelligence community, we like to say that we exist to find out who is doing what and why. And the why, man, that's the holy grail. I know who the Sergeant Joker account is. I know what he's doing. But the why part, man, that's always tougher. I don't know if this was satire or the person was trying to mislead other people. The only person who really knows is the person who wrote that tweet. But what's interesting is that when I challenged the truth in this tweet, a number of people messaged me the video I just played, even though the video was a New Hampshire Republican. Those people were tricked. So this certainly seems like it was intended to be misleading. One person even said, welcome to the world of facts.
Interesting. Okay. So he's specifically pushing back that this fat bloke in the original picture is not this dude. And that's the disinformation that this Sergeant Joker account, is that what's happening? I think that's what's happening. I think I'm catching on. I was a bit lost because I was a bit lost in the first 3 minutes. Like, where the fuck is this video going? Trying to figure out what's happening.
I am the last person you want to say that to. So, through the Sergeant Joker account, I did a cursory search. I don't really see any specific information, although my AI software hasn't finished churning through all 5 years.
We need this. What the fuck is this program?
I mean, this is like all stuff that, like, there's different types of programs you can use. I don't know what they use nowadays, though.
Tweets. This is the part where I actually cost $5 on Substack because AWS fees are not cheap. So I might chalk this up.
Yeah, a lot of those programs are paid for it. So like normally you work for an agency that has access to them.
Right.
They give you a suite. But like there's like this one, it's like a Giphy G or something, or GEHPI or something like that. But like it lets you like build terrorist networks and information webs out. So like you can like take people and you can just look at their, like you can take the data that's their friends lists, right? And you can run them together and then it will like organize them in a web. Like, you know how those universal web things will look, and you'll see them with like actual terrorist attacks where they'll show how the cells are linked and stuff like that.
Interesting. I just got a really random text from an American number.
You're gay.
What's 585? Where would that be?
Don't know.
People sent me the exact same wrong video is an indicator that this misattribution may have been intentional. So in conclusion, I do not believe that this particular
Rochester,
account
New
is a
York.
paid Russian actor, but the account is
I
using
knew
some
it.
similar
I knew it
tactics,
was
at least in this case. And if you're using the tactics,
like I know I have numbers with 585. I just wasn't sure. I was actually going to guess Rochester,
Interesting.
but I just wasn't sure, so I'm not about to throw it out.
of Russia, maybe you're not doing the right thing. Also remember, if something makes you feel emotional, think before you share. It could be misinformation. Search for truth, not emotional truth. Special thanks to Cyabra for allowing me to use their software in my investigation.
There you go. That's what it was. Well,
Yeah, and with the learning algorithms and stuff, it's only going
I
to
got
get...
a question from someone on Reddit.
Well, here we go. Who is this guy? Let's find out.
I know, right? Who, he said, I haven't seen your videos, so since you're in a debate about your own principles, do you care to outline your views? What interests you about war reporting? What is your view on the history of the U.S. military? I'm asking specifically about the morality. We all know the U.S. is very big pew-pews. So I figured I'd have a cigarette, have a drink, and maybe this will actually turn into my channel's introduction. So what interests me in war reporting? First off, I don't think I'm a war reporter. I know Tim Mack of the Counteroffensive, which is an actual news organization. I know how he does reporting. And when I first quit my job, I said, oh, I'm going to be a journalist. And then I realized after meeting Tim, I'm never going to be like him. I'm never going to have the ability to write stories. I know how to talk.
It's like,
and I know how to write. I know how to do video editing, but I don't know how to write like a journalist. So I think I was a journalist for about a month, and I'm like, you know what, I am an intel guy. So I spent 20 years as an infantryman.
Producer.
And then while serving, I got a degree in computer science. I got a master's in engineering management, and then after I retired, I got a master's in cybersecurity.
Jesus.
So when I left, I was really valuable because I could work for all these defense contractors. And these defense contractors needed a guy who was an infantryman who could speak the language of the infantryman, but who could also speak the language of the software engineer. So that's what I did. And it worked out really well for me financially. And you're a software engineer with a security clearance, you do well. And but one of the things that I realized after the war in Ukraine kicked off was that I was one of the few people in America that could actually talk about the military in a way that a lot of people understand.
We should email this guy.
I probably follow him.
I like what this guy's saying. We should.
I haven't looked at chat in a minute because I'm still trying to find this fucking Gaddafi
Did
video.
Ukraine sell a Patriot missile to China, and is this picture proof? So this popped up on Twitter, also known as X, on a channel called Alternative News. And this particular user described themselves as pro-peace.
Oh my God! Yes. Oh,
I have not seen this Twitter page before. I'm very surprised.
Took forever to find this video.
I'm aware.
Pretty sure it's right here because he's in his white shirt and his afro. It's definitely not past there. It's definitely not when he has sunglasses on, so it's definitely going to be right here.
Very few terroristic group that came from England and the United States of America.
The terrorist group came from England and the United States of America.
Colonel Gaddafi, can you give us your reaction to the attack on you yesterday?
There was no attack at all.
No attack?
No attack at all.
We heard very few.
Very few.
Many people were killed.
Terroristic group that came from England and the United States of America. They have been trained in Sudan, and they came one by one in a building here. And when they discovered them, they tried to fight, but they captured them. Unfortunately, they have been killed.
All of them?
Because all of them, one or two are still alive.
How many they were, Mr. Colonel?
What did Gaddafi say about the Darfur genocide?
Something like this.
How well did your
What?
What did Gaddafi say about the Darfur genocide?
I'm not sure, but he's talking. This is the Sudan camps. I mean, we've written about them that he's talking about, you know, and at the same time he's backing, you know, the fucking Janjaweed militia at this time, creating those militia.
They have been protected by the British police. They have been in London, and you know, some of them attacked our People's Bureau in London. You hear about it. Some of them were among this group who attacked our bureau with the protection of the police, British.
How do you know they were trained by British police? Huh? How do you know that they were trained by British police and trained in America?
They declared that, and we have documents and many evidences.
Why would the British do this, sir? Huh? Why would the British want to?
Because the British government is terrorist government.
A terrorist government?
Yes, and barbaristic government. They protect the terrorism and help for the terrorist actions.
Did
those people have any help from anybody inside of Libya?
They have some terrorist groups inside, and we captured them.
Do you expect more attacks?
What?
Do you expect more attacks?
If United States of America and British government and Sudan cooperate together and train more terrorists, we expect.
Colonel Gaddafi, for British television, sir, the British police have established that the shots were fired from inside the People's Bureau. Why do you allow your diplomats to carry weapons?
No. We are not responsible about anything that may be there when we got out, because this thing is maybe brought inside by the British police, and if there were pistols or something like this, it is for personal defense. Available with all the diplomats in the world.
Colonel, do you know who shot WPC Yvonne Fletcher?
Maybe the police, British police men themselves,
Colonel,
or some terrorists who were under the protection and help of this British police.
Colonel, many eyewitnesses saw shots fired from the first floor window of your People's Bureau. Traces of burns were found on the floor, cartridges were found, and the policewoman was shot in the back.
Anyhow, you can go to the court and say your...
Do you deny that your men were responsible
He
for
literally is like, oh yeah, take it to court.
What?
Do you deny your men were responsible?
No, our people there are innocent people.
Do you have any opposition to your government still?
I have no government. Now the authority is in the hands of the people. In the people's conferences, people's committees. I have no authority, and no one has nothing to
are there opponents to these people's congresses?
You don't want to understand. I am not the president. I'm not the prime minister. I have no authority. Who wants me? I can go to any place to fight with him. If there is a personal,
what?
I am just Colonel Gaddafi.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's respectable in a way. That's what the Taliban should do.
I agree.
Bro is lost. Why are we here? Are you talking about the lizard?
Who were they attacking?
Pardon?
Who were these people attacking yesterday?
Who made the attack yesterday?
He has already answered the question.
Colonel, have you ever encouraged your men to kill your opponents overseas?
Yes. Yes, he did. He was carrying out assassinations throughout the world.
No, but since now, I think the Libyan people will follow these terrorists everywhere, and they have the right to eliminate them.
Do you encourage them to kill your opponents?
No, it is the responsibility of the Libyan people.
Colonel, are you afraid that other attempts...
I am against terrorism and against any reaction.
The leaders of the Western world have called you a terrorist, Colonel.
This is it. He when they say they're calling you a terrorist, he does not. He's had about enough of these fucking reporters, right? This is when he really drops the bars here.
Government is a terrorist government. Reagan is the biggest terrorist in the world. You are far from the civilization. We are a nation of civilization. We defend our country, our terrorism. We want to live free in our land. We want to live happy in our land, peacefully. But you don't want this. You, the Western countries, particularly United States, the government of the United States of America, and the British government, they want to invade our our land. They don't want to live happy, to live in peace, to live in our country freely. We didn't go to United States of America or to England to invade them. We are in our homeland, and you want to take us here. We have the right to fight here and to follow our enemies everywhere. We must know since now.
Sir, are you afraid?
There is no international law allows British government or United States of America to protect terrorism.
In what way has
and
England
to
tried
export terrorism? If they want to export terrorism, we will do what is our right against this government.
Are you afraid of other attempts being made on your life?
No, I'm not afraid at all.
Thank you, sir.
Just like he's not wrong though. Reagan was the biggest terrorist in the world, though.
He's anti-MSM lies, anti-imperialism, anti-racism. JC was right, drain the swamp. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down there, bub. Now, I did a live stream just this morning where I debunked this in real time. Not everybody likes watching my live stream, so this video is a more polished version of this morning's live stream. I like doing live streams because it shows everybody what I'm doing, and they can see my process in real time. I also like to tag the target on Twitter when I do this so that they can watch their destruction in real time. I know this is pretty much what a psychopath would do, but if I'm a psychopath, I only go after bad guys, kind of like Dexter. So let's start with this image. The alternative news account claims this photo from China purports to show an American Patriot system that is being transported to a factory for analysis and re-engineering. It is suspected that the Patriot unit was sold to Russia by the people operating it. This has always been one of the great fears. So this smells for a few reasons. Some are technical and some are political. I'll get to the problems with the actual Patriot launcher in a moment. From a political standpoint, Russia has been pushing a narrative that Ukraine has been selling donated NATO weapons on the black market. Now, there really haven't been any confirmed cases of stuff going missing at the scale that Russia would like you to believe. There was a case where Ukraine's intelligence service caught some dude trying to steal rifles and ammunition. I think it's like 60 rifles. And that's going to happen in just about any conflict. It's hard to track every single rifle or every single night vision device. The last figures I could find for the U.S. Army is that the Army loses about 50 or so firearms per year. They're just not that easy to steal. Anyone who has ever served knows that you do daily accountability checks of all sensitive items, weapon, night vision, gas mask, radios. And when you come in from the field, you do a serial number inventory of all of your sensitive items. And still, occasionally things do get lost, but it's really hard to lose a Patriot system. First off, not a lot have been sent to Ukraine. Really, I believe only 2 systems, one from Germany, one from the U.S. And typically there's up to 6 to 8 launchers and a battery of Patriots. And this thing that you're seeing in the image is a launcher. So if Ukraine sold a launcher, we would know. This really isn't something that you can hide or send to another country surreptitiously. Second, the Patriot system is composed of 5 pieces. The ECS, which is like the control van where the operators sit.
Hey, if you want to learn more about the Patriot system, boy, do we have an episode for you.
And a TEL, or transport electric.
And it's not even...
You want to watch the episode about the ad that triggered all the boomers because somebody had 2 moms that were gay? And then did a military ad, how they think they were always fighting on the right side of history and for civil rights. And it triggered half a country, and even senators attacked this, soldier who just appeared in an army ad. And then the army told her, well, you have fun dealing with all this harassment online. Bye. Yeah. And then they went back to the army stuff.
28, I believe it is. It's...
But there's a lot of stuff about Patriot systems in there.
Yes, because she's a Patriot. She works with the Patriot missile systems, or worked with the Patriot missile systems. I'm not sure what she's doing now.
Well, she's out now because she just had a baby.
Okay. So she's probably moving more towards what the follow-up episode with her was about, which is the SHARP stuff, which is sexual assault prevention and in the military. It's very, very interesting 2 episodes that very much have nothing to do with each other, but both equally as interesting. It's a very interesting conversation.
Launcher. You can have up to 16 launchers in a Patriot battery, but it's more likely you'll have 6 or 8, although mission always dictates. So even if Ukraine sold a launcher, there's not a lot to it. It's a launcher. Plenty of countries have air defense launchers. Now, the missile inside the cans might be an intelligence coup. I mean, it wouldn't be bad to tear apart, but it's not the missile that makes the Patriot so special. It's the radar. It's the software that does all of the calculations. The Patriot missile system is fully automated. And if you want to watch a video on how the Patriot works, complete with an engagement scenario that actually happened, that'll be available at the end of this video. So we've already established that Russia needs this narrative that Ukraine is selling its donated weapons because this is part of Russia's psyops against you.
He's going crazy over either the watch or the lapel mic, and he's trying to eat the lapel mic or the watch. I can't figure it out.
Project power into your mind to turn you against giving Ukraine aid. So let's actually look at the picture now and see what we can pick apart here. First off, the side of the launcher says inert, so even if this were a system, it would be the cans that are used for training. Second, the Patriot launch trailer has 1 set of wheels on the rear trailer. This one has 2 sets of wheels. Third, the lights on the back of the trailer don't match up with a normal Patriot trailer. There's some other things as well. This is supposed to be a generator right here. The launcher has to be powered by something because normally they take these launchers, put them out in the middle of nowhere. They have a hot crew go around with diesel and refill all the generators. So the fact that there's no generator in this picture kind of leads me to believe that this is a mock-up. Now, Habitual Line Crosser is a Patriot system instructor, and I reached out to him, and he found some things that even I missed.
Yeah, so I will admit, this is a really good mock-up. I was very impressed, because at first glance, I even thought it was a legitimate Patriot launcher. But the longer I looked at it, the more things that I noticed. So we'll just start from where I started noticing things.
I'm so glad I clicked on this. This is a great channel. You found a great channel.
First off is the axles underneath it. American Patriot, we have super single tires on the back of our launchers. We have 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side. This has 4 on the left, 4 on the right. That's not necessarily a tell. Those things can be swapped out. So I continue to look at this thing. If you go up to the back of the canisters there, you'll notice that they have some weird cables that are hooked up in a location that doesn't make any sense. They're actually supposed to have ports where you hook the umbilical cables on the back of those canisters. The umbilical cables then go down below those canisters to that panel right there, which is called the J box, and they all connect to that point. That's how you control the interceptors. That's how you warn them. That's how you send their status to the engagement control station uprange. Following on with that, there's supposed to be grounds on those interceptors. Those grounds are either on the right side or the left side, depending on where the canister is located, and those are all wired down to the chassis, so that way you can ground that launcher when it is in use. Those are not there. Moving forward of the trailer on the left side, what is referred to as the road side, you see that box right in front of the left axles. That is what's referred to as an LEM, or a launcher electronics module. That, where we're looking at right there, should have a ton of cables coming out of it leading into the launcher. None are there to be seen. That should look like the side of Medusa's head, in all honesty. Then moving on to the outriggers. Now, outriggers in Patriot are very specific pieces of equipment. Everyone has either broken one or seen how they don't function, or when they freeze to the ground, they are kind of a pain. So we have all looked at a lot of outriggers. These outriggers are paper thin. Those launchers can weigh upwards, with a fully stacked 16 missiles on there, almost 40 tons. That is a heavy, heavy launcher. Those little tiny flimsy plates they have on there aren't going to hold anything. But then as you start to look closer, and I actually had to zoom in on the image, if you look inside of each of those outriggers, you'll happen to notice that there is a hydraulic piston inside there. Patriot launchers don't have a hydraulic piston. They actually have a hydraulic screw system. So this big metal sleeve spins in a circle, and there's a giant screw inside there, and that's how it lowers the outrigger down. So that way, if you lose hydraulic pressure, your launcher or your radar doesn't drop on the ground. I can't see if there's a generator in this one. It doesn't appear that there is a generator in this one, but we have generators up.
So pretty much a cool rocket, by the way. But so basically what he's saying is China is just using, it's a mock-up, just like the mock-up of the destroyer. Oh, sorry, the aircraft carrier in the desert, kind of. It's like a training system
on our gooseneck of all of our launchers. So it is a really good mock-up, but I would bet my paycheck that it is nothing more than just a mock-up. This is not real. It's really good, though. It's pretty well built.
Thanks, man. You can find Habitual Line Crosser's channel at the link below. And by the way, if you want to hang out with me, Preston Stewart, Chris Cappy, and Habitual Line Crosser, we're going to be at the AUSA Suncoast Chapter U.S. Army Birthday Ball in Tampa, Florida this June 29th. You can get tickets below. It'll be...
Okay, great. Back to Back to stream.
I just watched something else. I don't know. Chris Cappy gave input on. I'm trying to think about what it was.
Have gotten distracted with everything.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?